Labor Day weekend continues from lower downtown Denver. Nice crowd expected as the Rockies are getting set for Game 2 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Trying to bounce back after falling 9-5 last night. The Rockies now 72 and 62. We'll be keeping a close eye on how the Brewers are doing tonight. They're in a scoreless affair in the 4th inning right now at home against the Washington Nationals. There's Nolan Arenado. He's getting ready to go. Ian Desmond in the background. Again, the pitching matchup, John Gray and Patrick Corbin. And here is how the standings in the wild card chase look at the beginning of the day on Saturday, September 2nd. 77 and 58. The Diamondbacks now cleared the Rockies by 4.5 games. The Rockies just a game and a half up on Milwaukee. St. Louis already lost today to the Giants 2-1. As the Giants got a late run to win that ball game. So that's helpful, but it still comes down. I'm a big believer in this as you watch John Gray get ready. More so than any sports, Billy, you played at the big league level for a nice period of time. Baseball is not about the opponent, it's about how you play. And if you play to your standard, and the Rockies have an ability to play at a high level, you're going to win more often than you lose.
You look at it, this team has great defense. The starting pitching has been more than adequate. And if you look at the Rockies' record over the course of this year, the team's 45 and 13 if you get a quality start on the mound. 45 and 13. This team definitely needs it to get going offensively, but it all starts on the mound. And for me, it's John Gray, that Gray Wolf.
Well, I know Buddy Black's actually a big believer in that, having been a starting pitcher. You get a quality start, you're really going to have an opportunity to win. He's 6-3 in the month of August. Very impressive numbers. 259 batting average against. His last 8 games overall, just a 3.10 ERA. And the thing you really like is his whip at home. The last 6 ball games, just 1.10, which is well below league average. Basically one hitter an inning reaches. So your opportunity to do damage when there's only one guy on base is mitigated quite a bit.
He's been using his fastball and a curveball a lot more often, 13%. In fact, the last start against Atlanta when he went 6 innings, didn't allow an earned run, 5 hits. We saw a lot more fastballs in that game along with the curveball. The slider will always play, we know that. But the fact that he's added an extra weapon, it's proving that John Gray is trying to take his game to another level.
He wants to be great, and the road to being really good, you have to want to be really good and put in the time, and he's doing that. Here's the Southwest batting order for Torey Lovullo, whose team has really swung the bats the last 11 games, 10 of those games victories. He switches the lineup around. Marte's behind Peralta tonight. Lamb moves up against the righty. And then Goldschmidt, Martinez. Pollock slides down to 6. First pitch is fouled off. David Peralta, not surprisingly, is an aggressive guy because he's more often than not in his career been an RBI guy, a guy who's going to hit somewhere in the middle portion of the lineup. Here's the 0-1 on Peralta. Comes in at 299. Sliders low, 1-1. Temperature at game time is 90 degrees. It was cooking out there during batting practice. The Rockies had optional batting practice. A lot of guys participated. Arizona did not hit on the field at all. And this ball's lined to deep right field, and it's going to be over the head of Parr. He's going to hold him to a single, though. So a 370-foot single to greet John Gray by David Peralta. Rockies defensively, the only change from last night is Parra is getting the start for Cargo in right. Gerardo did not play in the ball game yesterday. Rockies, for the first time in 2 years, committed 3 errors in 1 inning last night. They also had a mental error when Kyle Freeland did not cover first base, and on the mound they walked 7 guys, so it was not a well-played game from the Rockies' perspective. That ball is inside on Ketel Marte. 4 for 23 lifetime against the Rockies. Nolan inches in a little bit in case Marte were to lay down a bunt. Runner takes off. It's a hit and run, and out at first base. I'm a little surprised that Nolan grabbed that baseball. I think it had a chance to go foul, and I guess Nolan didn't want to risk it, and it was bang, bang at first base. In fact, Marte thinks he may have been safe. He's hanging around the bag waiting for the review.
Watch Nolan, he's paying attention, and that ball is coming back to fair territory.
You know what?
He put himself in a position that he knew if the ball goes a certain direction to the left, it's foul.
You're absolutely right. That was a great replay we had of it. Oh man, that may go in favor of Marte. From the angle we showed, Nolan, who's so smart, you're right, that ball was coming back to fair territory. From the angle we had, it looks like it's going to veer foul. What a contrast in two-hole hitters from one night to the next. Marte looks like a two-hole hitter, acts like a two-hole hitter. Last night it was Chris Iannetta. You know he wasn't going to be bunting.
No, not at all.
And you know he probably wasn't going to be involved in a hit and run. He's just got to touch the glove. And it looks like it's close, but it looks like the foot may have come down. See this angle. Now, did he get the front portion on the bag? That foot, did it touch the bag or was he on the dirt?
Yeah, he touches, the toe touches,
Safe.
They gave him safe.
Yeah, so that'll be an infield hit, and now 2 on, nobody out. And here we go again. Arizona scored a run in the first inning last night. They have scored runs in the first inning in 4 straight games. 11 runs, in fact, in the first inning over the last 4. 5 in the first on Tuesday against the Dodgers, 3 in the first on Wednesday against the Dodgers, 2 against LA on Thursday. And the run I mentioned last night, and now they're poised to do damage here against Gray in the first frame. Here is Jake Lamb. What you hope is that John can produce a ground ball naturally. And in the month of August, he had a ground ball rate of 58.2%. 50% is league average, right around there. And John had been below 50% in prior months. So he's really gotten the ball down in the zone over his last half dozen starts or so.
Lamb hit 7th last night against the lefty Kyle Freeland. Tonight he hits 3rd. Look at the numbers he's done. 257 with 97 RBIs.
And he is overmatched there, 97 miles an hour. And it's 0-2. So a line shot by Peralta off the right field wall. And then on a hit and run, an infield hit for Marte. Story in the pocket of Peralta at second. And this ball's lined right at Parra. A little too good 0-2, huh?
John Gray's not fooling anybody in this first inning. Saw David Peralta take some pretty aggressive swings. Even with 2 strikes to a hitter that typically strikes out very high on the Supermo. You see the curveball just sitting in the middle part of the plate.
Yeah, that location was not what Jonathan Lucroy or John Gray wanted. Ball's supposed to be down and in. It was neither. Here's Paul Goldschmidt, 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts, lifetime against Gray. That's going to stay fair. Out at third. 2 gone. And now a real chance to get out of it.
Goldschmidt just tries to jump on top of John Gray, swings at a first pitch slider. Watch Nolan, he puts his right foot on the third base bag and stretches out. Sometimes you'll see third baseman run all the way through it and try to throw the guy out at first base. Nolan knows better.
Not only is he the greatest wizard with a glove at third we've ever seen, he's one of the smartest players I've ever seen. The pitch is in on J.D. Martinez, ball one. This is a big out. This is a momentum out, and the game's only 5 minutes old. But this is a big situation early in this game. Given the way Arizona has jumped out to early leads and the Rockies' struggles of late. He went 1-1.
Martinez, like Jake Lamb, have pretty dramatic splits between right-handers and lefties. Martinez beats up on left-handers, 244 batting average against righties.
Do you know what, Spilly? He's one of those guys, and this may sound like a silly thing, but scouts, you know this, refer to guys, he's a mistake hitter. Whereas he's not a high-level boy who's going to get a lot of hits on quality pitches. But when you make a mistake because he's so strong, that's when he punishes you.
That's fair. A lot of guys are mistake hitters.
1-2. Fastball on the knuckles.
It's these type of situations for John Gray where he has excelled. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. He has not relinquished many hits.
In the air to right, but curving foul. Martinez, a career .281 hitter. Houston and Detroit. 3 years in Houston, 3.5 years in Detroit. Another 1-2. Trying to get him to chase. That ball was up just a smidgen. Home plate umpires Paul Emmel. He's the crew chief. Scott Barry at first, Quinn Walcott at second, Brian O'Norris at third. 2 outs in the first. 15 pitches in. Gray has runners at first and second. Marte at second, Goldschmidt at first. We can find a feel for a slider here. That ball's hammered to center field. And a 3-run home run for J.D. Martinez. We talked about the fact that he didn't get his last breaking ball down. The one that was a line out off the bat of Jake Lamb, and now the Rockies playing uphill 10 minutes into the game.
3 out of 4 games now for the Arizona Diamondbacks where they've scored multiple runs in the first inning. 30th home run of the season for J.D. Martinez. A mistake. Smack dab right down the middle. Shorten his swing up. That's basically a cookie for a hitter to get a pitch right in that position.
He said right before the pitch, he's going to get a feel for his slider. And what that becomes, Billy, it's like an 88-mile-an-hour fastball. And you guys kill 88-mile-an-hour fastballs that are in the center of the plate. .449 feet to dead center field. Already 3-0 Arizona. Martinez has 14 home runs since joining the Diamondbacks on July 19th. The only player in baseball with more home runs in that time frame than Stanton, naturally. He's got 23. For a team whose psyche has to be somewhat fragile right now, given the fact that it's been a while since they've put together, you know, a week of solid baseball where you win 5 or 6 ball games, to start out before you hit the bat rack already down 3-0, when you had a guy on the mound who'd been rolling. In the inning, there were 3 hits. J.D. Martinez makes it 3-0 with his 30th home run of the year. That includes his time in Detroit. Got as visibly upset as I have seen him all year. He's going to have to move on. There's a lot of baseball left. Rockies down 3-0 on the Martinez home run. Let's take a look at the Rockies lineup. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. The leading hitter in the National League is Charlie Blackmon. He's at .340. He's a career .353 hitter against Arizona. And then it's LeMahieu and Arenado, Reynolds, Desmond, Gerardo Parra, the one-time Diamondbacks. Story slides to the 7th spot. He's been swinging the bat well. Lucroy will try to flip the lineup over in the 8th spot in front of Gray. Patrick Corbin's last 4 starts, he has an .030 ERA, 29 strikeouts, just 5 walks. He's pitching as well as he ever has.
This guy coming off Tommy John. Best year was back in 2013. For Corbin, he has his velocity back. It's back to about 92.5 miles an hour. And for him, it's a slider. Slider's his best secondary pitch. In fact, he's throwing a slower slider. It'll act like a curveball. It's not a curveball, it's a slider. But you'll see this pitch mixed in throughout the night.
That's off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Blackmon 9 for 24, including a home run. Really good numbers against Patrick Corbin. Listen, Corbin, some good news after that rough first inning. Even though Corbin comes in on a real roll, he has pitched 7 times at Coors Field with an ERA after those 7 ball games of .778.
His last start at Coors was May 6th. He lasted 4 innings, gave up 8 earned runs.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Some more good news. Corbin ranks 3rd in the National League on the road, giving up home runs with 17.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Charlie. And looked like he held up. 3-2. Charlie hitting .340 against lefties, and he draws a walk. He comes all the way back, and he's aboard for LeMahieu. Well, you heard Mark's piece before the first pitch tonight. You're not going to see the dramatic shift that they employed against LeMahieu yesterday, because with a lefty, you know, breaking stuff works into him. There's a greater likelihood that DJ will pull the ball. So they slide Peralta to left center field. Pollock slides a little bit toward right center, but nothing like we saw last night. And DJ lays down a bunt, get Corbin moving, and that'll be a sacrifice. So Blackman to second with one out, and that brings up Arenado. And we'll glance at the defensive alignment for Arizona tonight. We talked about the outfielders. Lamb's at third. Marte's a good shortstop. Descalso's playing second base tonight. He hit a 3-run home run last night. Paul Goldschmidt, Gold Glover at first base, and doing the catching is the versatile Chris Herman, who'll go out and play center field for you also. Really good athlete. Former White Sox. Let's see if the Rockies can turn their fortunes around hitting with runners in scoring position. 1 for 13 yesterday, 1 for 15 the last 2 ball games. And a breaking ball for a strike, and it's not just the last couple of ball games. It's been this way for a while. Last 11, 157. The last 23, 194. And as you heard Ian Desmond talk about before the first pitch tonight, he said, listen, we have great numbers. A lot of guys have terrific numbers with runners in scoring position. It's just one of those things. We're going through a bad period. He goes, we're going to turn it around. Obviously, we want to turn it around quickly. It's the kind of the ebb and the flow of a season. But there's a greater feeling of urgency because you're into September. The gap is closed with Milwaukee coming, and obviously the Rockies' rough patch has been coupled with how well Arizona all of a sudden is playing.
Looking at those 23 games, if you're curious what the run differential over the course of that time frame, it's -7.
Not what you'd think, probably. You think, man, it's been awful. It's probably -30 or 40. It's not much.
No, and the team was 8 and 14 in those 23 games, so 15 winning. So when you're looking at it, you realize that it's only 7 runs. That's how important hitting with runners in scoring position is.
1-2 on Nolan. 2-2. You always feel, Spilly, when you were behind in a count and you got it back to 2-2, it's like you had a whole new world.
As long as you're spoiling off the pitches that the guy has. If you haven't seen the good slider, or you haven't seen the good changeup yet, and all it is fastball, no, you're not quite there yet. You want to see the better secondary pitches and know you can spit on those.
Secondary pitch, a back foot slider, and he strikes out Nolan. 1 out, and that'll bring up, or excuse me, 2 outs. That'll bring up Reynolds.
Corbin, he's been throwing his slider almost 40% of the time into the back foot to a righty. Very difficult for a hitter to pull his hands in. This pitch is either pulled foul or swing over the top of it.
Here's the first pitch to Reynolds. Outside on Mark. 2 for 10. Both hits against Corbin have been home runs for Mark. Blackman at second. Charlie reached 3 times last night but did not score a run. Can't recall the last time Charlie was on base 3 times and didn't score. So used to him scoring multiple runs a game. He's not being driven, he's driving himself in. 3-0 with Desmond on deck.
7.67 ERA for Patrick Corbin in the first inning. As with many good starting pitchers, you try to get him in the first inning because they haven't quite settled down yet.
That's not a strike. And one thing I hate, man, that's an automatic throw. 3-0 if it's around the plate, it's a strike. And that's not a strike.
It's the major leagues. You don't have to.
That's mask high off the plate.
You do not have to help a major leaguer out. You can't throw it for a strike. It shouldn't be a strike.
You let Corbin back in the count. And now it's 3-2.
Those numbers bear out once Patrick Corbin gets settled into the game. How much harder he becomes to hit.
(3-2). And a fly ball to shallow right. And it's gloved out there by Martinez to end the Rockies' first inning. Blackman walked. He's left at second. 3-0 Arizona. Baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. We go to the top of the second inning. The Rockies trail 3-0. A J.D. Martinez 3-run home run. Among 3 hits against John Gray in the first. Daniel Descalso, who hit a 3-run home run last night, playing second base tonight. The 3-run home run for Descalso yesterday came as a pinch hitter, and it came on an 0-2 pitch. To add insult to injury, if you will. Well, John had about 10 minutes on the bench to recollect his thoughts. He's got to erase that first inning. It is what it is now. You can't change it. You have to impact what happens going forward. 2 strikes.
Well, it's not like the first inning. John Gray was wild. He threw 20 pitches, 16 of those for strikes. It's just that his secondary pitch to J.D. Martinez wasn't there yet. Just didn't have the good sharp secondary.
There's a curveball off the plate, 1-2. 2 years with the Rockies, couple hundred games for Descalso. It's a strikeout.
John Gray going right after Descalso. That's a changeup. Don't get a chance to see John Gray throw that pitch too often. If he has action like that with that changeup, he should use it more often.
Chris Herman. I originally said he was, please mix that up. Chris Herman, I said, was a White Sox. He was a Twin, not a White Sox. He's one of those guys that's more of a National League player because of his ability to move around. It's outside.
Diamondbacks are doing a little fishing while the game's going on.
Are they bored by the game?
Hey, when things are going well, players do things a little different.
Two and two on Herman. 3-2.
Probably looking for the baseball that JD Martinez hit in the first inning. 30th home run. They probably think that's special, which it is.
Ground ball to short. The backhand Story will throw out Herman. 2 gone. 2 gone, and that'll bring up pitcher Patrick Corbin. Folks, join in on the conversation. Send us your statements, your questions on Twitter or Instagram at AT&T Sportsnet RM, and include the hashtag Toyota Talk.
I love the story of Patrick Corbin. He tried out for the baseball team wearing jeans.
That's in high school. Showed up in jeans. He went to school at Cicero North, which is in Syracuse, and being a New Yorker and having gone to college in the central tier in upstate New York, Spill, you don't know cold unless you're from Minnesota, like it can get in Syracuse and that part of the country. He was a really gifted athlete. He was a heck of a basketball player. Went to Mohawk Valley Community College and then transferred to Japola Junior College, where the weather was a whole lot better because that's down in Florida. But he played a little junior college basketball also. 3-1. What was that story? Didn't he dunk in jeans once he was in pro ball, or did a,
yeah, without even,
you know, like
from
flat-footed or something?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with going to a tryout wearing jeans.
And that is not good. John Gray just walked Patrick Corbin.
That at the bottom of the Subaru strike zone.
You know, it's interesting. It's gotten to a point, and I've always been a proponent of the human element. But Buddy was asked about that today, and he said, you know, more in this game, I'm not averse maybe to trying out, you know, if the technology ever gets there, you start at the minor league level, so the balls and strikes become automated. I've never been a proponent of that, but it seems to come up more and more in conversation. And these guys are the best in the world. And it's not to pick on Paul Emmel or any of these guys. I mean, you're watching 95 miles an hour with movement come over, you know, a corner of the plate. You have to judge, was that there? Wasn't it? You know, was it at the knees? Was it below? Was it at the top of the zone? Not easy. And you're not going to get 100% right.
And that's the problem, is that even if you're 96% right, and we see on average 275 pitches on both sides. It's a lot of misses.
And their threshold, here's the 1-1. 2-1 on Peralta. Their threshold, and they get graded when they're behind the plate the next morning, they get their, was it the CompuStat? I think it's 92%. They want them to be above 92% in accuracy, which is really high. You're an A student, right?
Yeah,
but there's still misses.
That's still close to 16 to 18 pitches they miss per game.
It's an easy play for Reynolds. That'll end the inning. Rockies down 3-0, middle of 2 at Coors Field.
Arizona, Gerardo Parra hitting 6 tonight, so he is on deck. He comes into this game with the 5th most hits on the team with 105, and this is only his 93rd game, and he's hitting .337. He's had a good year. I want to show you his spray chart, and he's been able to hit the ball to all parts of the field. You take a look at to the left side, 26 hits, to the middle, 45, and to the right, 33. So he's been able to evenly spread his hits about. Now, Spilly, I want you to comment on this. Tonight he's hitting 6th. He's been hitting 4th, which has got his average up to .337. I know that you hit 4th in your career for 62 plate appearances. I don't know how many starts you had hitting in the 4th hole, but I know that you hit the most in 6, and you hit .339 as a 6-hole hitter.
So is there a big difference hitting 4th and 6th?
You hit like 240, yeah.
Yeah,
so obviously the numbers say that.
Yeah, well, it's a smaller sample size, but
true.
I think as a hitter, whenever you put yourself in a situation, especially if you are a guy that's typically not a 4-hole cleanup, and maybe a lower the lineup type guy. I'm not saying Gerardo is that guy, but you have to continue and stay true to your approach. There's a reason why Bud Black had Gerardo Parra hitting 4th earlier in the year. It's because he liked the quality of the bat that Gerardo has provided. When you put him down to 6 against a lefty like Patrick Corbin, it makes all the sense in the world because you're trying to get Ian Desmond the matchup hitting 5th.
2 balls and a strike on Desmond leading off here in the 2nd. And Desmond with a sharp ground ball that Marte makes a good play on. That's the difference between Marte playing short and, with all due respect, Adam Rosales. That's a base hit last night.
They talk about first step quickness. Tell Marte has that in spades. Very quick to his left. The slide, setting his feet quickly, and even though the throw is offline, Goldschmidt at first is a Gold Glover. Nice play.
Nice play all the way around. One out. Here is Gerardo Parra, 2009 through 14. A member of the Diamondbacks. In fact, he played 787 games with Arizona, which is 6th most in club history. A couple Gold Gloves. 274 average with Arizona. Drove in 250 runs. Oh, 2. Arizona wearing their dark grays. Do you realize, Billy, that they've worn something like 11 different uniforms this year? I mean, the Oregon Ducks are like, settle on something, guys.
I would have no shot. Remember, they go, hey, okay, we're doing for a 6-game road trip. Bring your teal top, gray bottoms. Also bring your red with the teal with the extra red and gray, and don't forget the all gray with a little bit of teal.
The clubbies have to hate it. Tell people what you're in charge of when you pack your bag for a road trip as a player.
You're in charge of your shower shoes, batting gloves, your glove, the extra workout equipment, workout shirts that you'll wear. Sometimes you'll pack an extra uniform or two. For the most part, by the time you come to your locker, you're going on the road, your bag is mostly packed with the uniforms already set up for you.
By the clubhouse attendants.
By the clubhouse attendants.
What you didn't realize is after you retired, that doesn't continue. 2-2. And this ball's in the air to deep left center field. And it's run down out there by Peralta. 2 outs in the second. That'll bring up Story. Fans, if the Rockies score 7 or more, we're going to rejoice, as the Rockies need to do that. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations as well the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special at Mazda Taco Bell. Story's riding a 7-game hitting streak, 346 average over those 7 ball games. He's also produced 7 doubles in that time frame. Trevor last night had 3 RBIs. Cargo had the other 2 in the 9-5 loss.
Story's hitting .310 now against left-handers, 204 against righties. Last night his double was against Andrew Chafin, Diamondbacks lefty. Going back to the uniforms, Drew.
Yes.
The Diamondbacks, in their notes, they have all the different records with the different uniforms they wear. And I believe that, would you consider this the red and gray Diamondback uniform tonight?
It's not a lot of red, but I mean, it's a ton of gray. Is there gray?
Now, gray/red or gray/teal? Which one is it?
I guess it's gray/red.
They're 11 and 14 in this uniform.
Oh, good. They stink in these unis. Not literally, we think, just figuratively.
I mean, some of them probably do.
Toward the end of the night. But we digress. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that's inside, 3-2. Another back foot slider. He got Nolan on that pitch. Corbin, an all-star in 2013. Had Tommy John surgery, missed all of 14, came back in the middle of 15. I say it takes, another season or so to get back. So he's in the air to center field. Pollock's got a routine play. Rockies go in order in the second. We go to the third. JD Martinez's 3-run home run in the first has Arizona out in front. Here's our CenturyLink High-Speed Challenge question. Go to AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote. You'll see it during the Toyota postgame show. Would you rather see September roster expansion stay the way it is, which is you can play anybody on your 40-man roster, or have, say, a 28-man roster designated each night? You probably could play with that number. You know, my suggestion would be you can bring up as many as you want, but designate a 25, maybe a 26-man roster. But you get the point. So
I can
we're
live with that.
interested tonight on the CenturyLink High-Speed Challenge what you all think. 1 ball, 1 strike on Marte. Batting in the 2 spot tonight. Jake Lamb and Paul Goldschmidt to follow here in the 3rd. Change up, 2 balls and a strike. Back up the middle and a base hit for Marte. That is the 4th hit for Arizona. Rockies looking for their first hit against Corbin. Lamb lined out to right in the 1st. He's fired up. I talked to him yesterday about his alma mater, the University of Washington. They went to Piscataway and beat the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers 30-14 on the gridiron yesterday after a slow start. He lives basically in the same area that he grew up in, which is 10 minutes from the University of Washington. Said his whole life he wanted to go to the University of Washington. He was a great player in state, and he said, you know, because I kind of grew late. He said, you know, I was a decent player. Because I asked him, did other schools recruit you? And he said, you know, all of a sudden later on, he goes, Oregon State came in, and you know, some other schools, Oregon. So I just thought I was going to go to Washington and, you know, have a nice little college career and then move on and start a career somewhere else. Little did he know that he was going to be a great player at Washington and a high pick, and it's turned into a slugging 3rd baseman for Arizona. Oh, 2 on Lamb. It's funny to hear that kind of thought from a guy that, you know, goes to a Pac-12 school to play baseball. Because Billy, you went to a, you know, really good academic school and a good baseball program at UCSB, and everybody has a dream, and well, they should when you're 18. And if you're good enough to go to a, you know, Division I school, you're probably thinking, man, I'm going to be a big leaguer. I'm going to have a shot to play professionally. He was like, yeah, I'm going to have a nice little college career and then move on.
Talked to Curtis Granderson. Curtis Granderson went, after he signed out of the University of Chicago, Illinois, goes into the minor league system, thought he was just going to take a couple of years in the minor leagues to go on to advertising for shoes.
Backpedaling is Nolan, and that's out number 1 in the 3rd. So that'll bring up Goldschmidt, who rolled a ground ball for a force out to Nolan for the 2nd out in the 1st. And then Nolan got ahead of J.D. Martinez 1 and 2. And again, the evening began with a base hit by Peralta off the right field wall, and then an infield hit by Marte. And so John was a strike away from getting out of that predicament, and unfortunately ends up hanging a slider that got hit over the center field wall. That's why it's 3-0 Arizona.
And John did throw 2 pitches down and away to J.D. Martinez, a fastball and then a slider. They were pretty decent pitches. They were just fought off by Martinez, and then he earned himself that mistake.
There's the 1-0 on Goldschmidt. And that's a strike. Goldschmidt tonight's playing his 100th career game against the Rockies. 42nd player all time to play that many against Colorado. He's driven in 87 runs in his first 99 games against Colorado. A .325 average, a .572 slugging percentage. If you're wondering who's played the most, guy who's still in the Diamondback organization, Luis Gonzalez, played 196 games against Colorado. There's another strike. His son Jacob, Gonzo's son Jacob's in pro ball now, drafted out of Chaparral High School down in Scottsdale. Second round. I saw him play as an amateur and saw him play in high school last year. He is a big, strong, good-looking kid. Pretty good bloodlines, huh?
Gonzo has the biggest forearms I've ever seen.
1-2. And here's a rollover. See if the Rockies can turn it. There's one. Wasn't hit hard enough. So Goldschmidt, with 2 outs, takes the place of Marte. So here's Martinez.
After spoiling several pitches, he got the hanging slider. 3-run home run, his 30th on the season. Let's see how John attacks him the second time through. Just have to pay attention to Paul Goldschmidt at first. 17 stolen bases on the season. He's only been caught 5 times.
Outside, ball 1.
That hit that John Gray gave up with 2 outs was only his 2nd hit with runners in scoring position this season. 2 for 28 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Well, with 2 outs
against John Gray.
You know, phenomenal numbers. It's 3-0.
JD will have the green light. 3-0. If there's a pitch that he likes, he will swing.
And John Gray knows that.
Right at the top of the Subaru strike zone.
On the ground is short, and that'll end the inning. Middle of 3, the Rockies behind 3-0, looking for their first knock against Patrick Corbin. It will be 8, 9, and 1 in their batting order. Lucroy, the pitcher, and then Charlie Blackmon. Time for our AARP Getting to Know. Ryan McMahon came off the bench yesterday, drew a walk. Drafted in the second round of the 2013 draft. California kid, 42nd overall. He was the PCL Player of the Month in July. Started the year actually in Double-A. He had a great year in Double-A and Triple-A. Good looking athlete. Power prospect for the Rockies. One strike on Lucroy.
There's a slower slider that I mentioned earlier. Corbin will throw that. It'll act like a curveball, but it's not a curveball. It's not a curveball grip. It's the same slider grip. Just takes a lot of velocity off of it. And he goes to the harder one after.
1 and 2.
Whenever you hear of hitters talking about a guy with the ability to change speeds, pitchers talk about it as well. It's being able to use your same pitch, but change the variance and induce different kinds of contact. With one pitch, Patrick Corbin can take a couple miles an hour off the slider, create a completely different pitch with the same arm action and the same grip.
One out, Gray at the plate. One ball, one strike. Actually, it's a 1 and 2 count now. What about that big board? Discrepancy with the count on the big board. Now they have it right. Corbin 5 starts ago at AT&T Park in San Francisco had a rough outing, and it looked like he lost some focus according to people who watched that outing in San Francisco, and that is strike 3. Torey Lovullo sat down with him after the ball game and I think was pretty stern, shall we say, with him about, you know, every 5th day being ready to go. No bad body language and focus pitch to pitch. And it must have resonated with him, because since that start, he told you his last 4 in 0.30 ERA. And tonight he's been very good. First time through the lineup. He has 2 strikeouts. The only blemish was a walk to Charlie Blackmon. Rockies without a hit. Charlie was featured today. I love this show. It's a great show for kids who love baseball, but also, you know, adults, anybody who loves the game. Harold Reynolds normally hosts it, play ball on Saturdays with on the MLB Network. Eric Burns, our old friend, former Rocky, was filling in, and he had come to Coors Field, taped, you know, a 30-minute show, and you got to see Charlie in outfield play, talk about, you know, his rise through junior college and Georgia Tech, and kind of toured downtown also. Got a feel for who Charlie is off the field. It's really well done. Charlie, deservedly so, is getting a lot more national attention as people realize this is one of the premier players in the game. 2-2. Charlie bounces it to Marte. And a 1-2-3 inning. That is 8 in a row set down by Patrick Corbin.
Me, the Hilton Burger Shack, the reason why I'm here, so I could talk about our Coors timeless moment. Game 4, NLCS, Coors Field.
Check swing roller.
You are going to see Todd Helton with that famous pose. And Drew just mentioned Eric Burns, who, of course, was there sliding for Arizona. That's our Coors timeless moment. Spilly, 2 weeks from today, this weekend, it's the big reunion. Tell everybody about what is planned for that reunion weekend.
Oh my gosh, we have so many things planned. You know, they're going to have an on-field celebration of the 2007 team. A lot of great names will be joining that. Aaron Cook, Jeff Francis, Garrett Atkins, maybe a guy named Todd Helton will be there. Corey Sullivan, myself. Pretty fun that the Rockies have gotten behind it and put this thing together. I know.
I see you two schmahoolies all the time, so I'm not as excited
Nobody
about
wants
that.
to see us. They want to see Helton. They want to see Hopper. They want to see Cookie. It's going to be great.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
And it's a great idea. It's been 10 years already since that World Series team, but
can't believe it.
That's going to be a blast, and I'm excited for you guys to be together. And I'm sure things will go well after the ball game also.
Oh yeah, I told you, Saturday I'm wearing sunglasses. Sunday, pretty much count me out.
Don't we normally count you at Sundays anyhow?
Tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow I'm a wash.
2-1 on AJ Pollock, 2-2. Of course, there's some guys still playing. We went over this the other day, including a guy in the Arizona dugout still playing. Hi there, cutie. Base hit, center field. Charlie's got a long run. Pollock is going to turn on the gas, head towards second, and he's in there with a double. Chris Iannetto is who I was referencing in the Arizona dugout. Tulo's hurt, but he's with Toronto. Matt Holliday just got activated yesterday with the Yankees. Seth Smith's in Baltimore. Ubaldo Jimenez, talking about him earlier with my man Jose, who's been working security here for many years. He's very close with Ubaldo. So those 5 guys still active.
There's a lot of coaches, players that were on that team that are coaches. Yorvi Torrealba will be here, but he's an agent now.
Boy, it was great to see him in Miami a couple weeks ago.
Jamie Carroll will be in town.
Is Jamie helping coach with his brother at Evansville?
I want to say he's a front office guy. Might be Minnesota. Another former Rocky, Scott Ellerton, is with him in that job. and a job title.
So 1-0 to Descalso, 2-0 on Descalso after that leadoff double by Pollock. 3-0 Arizona.
Jamie Carroll's with the Pirates.
The Pirates, that's what
In what capacity?
He's helping out Clint Hurdle, and he's around the minor leaguers, just kind of, you know, doing that thing, being a baseball guy.
He's a special assistant to.
That's what you call it. Yeah.
To Neil Huntington. Just confirmed that. 2-1. This is another guy, Descalso, who, if he wants to stay in the game in probably many capacities when he's done, he'll have ample opportunity. So well thought of, real cerebral player. Product of Cal Davis. And you know who Cal Davis is playing in football today? That's a strike. I had no idea until we were chatting with Buddy earlier today. I said, who the Aztecs have? He said, the smart guys from UC Davis. I said, Descalso's team. He goes, yeah. Kind of like the Aztecs in that game.
It's the Broncos, right? UC Davis.
You would know, you're a California guy.
My sister went to school there. She just never sent me into the gear.
Did she get her law degree from there also?
Yes.
This is on the ground foul.
Or UC Santa Clara is the Broncos. It's UC Davis.
I'm not sure. I'm sure Twitter's going to light up now. See if Twitter beats Dougie to.
They're the Aggies.
They're the Aggies.
Aztec are up 10-3 in the first quarter.
It's early. Two and two. Daniel had 13 home runs with the Rockies over 2 years. And his first year struggled a little bit, some injuries naturally. Last year, Daniel had a good solid season for Colorado. He's hit 9 home runs, driven in 45 this year for Arizona.
He's telling me that earlier in the season, this Diamondbacks team was struggling to find some sort of production, and Torey Lovello put Descalso leading off with Iannetta hitting second.
Descalso, that was the whole purpose of his at-bat, especially once he got to 2 strikes, was to try to get it to play on the right side.
Professional at-bat.
Yeah, and he moves Pollock to third, and the Rockies, I'm sure will see how they handle this. First base is open. This is Herman batting 8th. You could walk him and go pitch to Corbin and then hope you get Peralta out, or you could go at Herman and bring the infield in, and that's what Buddy Black elects to do. And I get that, because if it does flip over to Peralta, you're talking about a 300 hitter. Left on right. He's already hit a ball off the wall tonight against Gray. Pitch just missed. Ball 1. Herman 6 for his last 45 at the plate. Called ball 2.
Both pitches are very close. You can hear the dugout barking at home plate umpire Paul Emmel.
Yeah, that's why. They're both at the very bottom of the Subaru strike zone, but instead of even getting one of the two, it's a 2-0 count. In the 4th inning, Gray's now thrown 72 pitches.
The Diamondbacks have just been grinding through the at-bats. They've taken quality at-bats. You look at Descalso making sure he got the base runner over. It took 7 pitches.
And Herman walks.
Rockies baseball is always live with the MLB.com at Bat mobile app. Stay connected all season with video highlights, stats, news, and more.
Now, what you're going to get here is a bunt attempt, obviously, by Corbin to move Herman. It applies a little more pressure on the defense, Billy, because of who is at third base. You have a plus runner in A.J. Pollock and an aggressive runner, not just a guy who can run, but a guy who's aggressive. So he's going to read this bunt. When you were playing the outfield, you primarily played center field, but when you were on one of the corners, and you know the guy's bunting.
I wanted to play as shallow as possible.
And you're ready to sprint it toward the infield?
I want to make sure I was able to cover behind first base in case there was an errant throw.
Runner going, and they'll throw through a low throw. That's a great pick by Story. Jonathan Lucroy had a similar throw going to center field for an error last night, part of the 3 errors in 1 inning. When the Diamondbacks got 5 runs on 2 hits.
This is the athlete in Chris Herman. He can play some center field. This is the 4th stolen base on the season, has not been caught once. And it's the pressure the Diamondbacks continue to put on the Rockies. Running the bases aggressively, taking longer at bats.
2 strikes, got to strike him out. And John does that. So now you really have a choice here. You have Peralta coming up with first base open, Spilly. It's already 3-0. You're in the 4th inning. You could pass on him and go to Marte, who's hitting 40 points lower and is not an everyday player as compared to Peralta.
Problem is as a pitcher, as an aggressive player, you want John to have that advantage. You want John to be in control.
They'll go at Peralta. Started out with a curveball fouled off. Peralta lined one over the head and off the wall of Parra, leading off the ballgame. He hit it so hard, and Gerardo got to it so quickly and fired a strike to second that it went as a long single. Next time up, he hit a ground ball right at Mark Reynolds. Peralta, a former professional pitcher, he converted to being an outfielder some years ago. This is fouled off, 0-2. Pitched 3 years of pro ball. 4.52 ERA. 27 games. Here's the 0-2 from Gray. Outside, 1-2.
So far, his best secondary pitch on the evening to a lefty has been a changeup. He's thrown it once. The slider just hasn't been quite as sharp for him.
1-2. And John thought he had the strikeout. It's 2-2. is off the plate.
See where Lucroy's set up, seeing if he can get Peralta to chase. It's not far off.
And now it's 3-2. You mentioned it a little bit ago, Spilly. The Diamondbacks were in a really good place offensively. Have done a great job of working counts. They have not expanded much in this series so far. Make a pitch here. 3-2. And ball. Oh, called strike 3. Called strike 3. And Gray works out of it as Peralta continues to converse with Paul Emmel. So 2 left in scoring position in the top of the 4th. It remains 3-0. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By Bond Fees, it takes all types to save lives, give blood. And by UC Health, live extraordinary. We go to the 4th inning. The Rockies do not have a hit yet. The leadoff man, Charlie Blackmon, walked. Nothing since then. DJ LeMahieu behind that walk in the bottom of the 1st had a sac bunt. A strikeout of Arenado, and Mark Reynolds hit a fly ball to shallow right. That's it for the Rockies in terms of offense. 8 in a row set down by Patrick Corbin. It's LeMahieu, Arenado, and Reynolds. And the count on DJ is 1-1. Mark did that nice piece on DJ in the shift last night. 3 guys really all in some form of right field, right center, right, and near the right field foul line. And DJ said he didn't notice it initially. You know who else didn't realize it? Which it boggles my mind. Taijuan Walker.
It's good. Yeah, you don't want to tell him. Well, during batting practice today, DJ LeMahieu is working on trying to get the bat head out just in case. Now, hitters don't typically look out and see where the outfielders are playing and try to manipulate the ball to where they're not shaded. But DJ, realizing that he needs to probably get the bat head out on fastball to beat the shift, took some time practicing it today.
This ball's crushed to right center field, and it is off the very top of the wall. Takes a big hop all the way back toward the infield. LeMahieu to third, and Stu Cole will hold him there. First hit, a leadoff triple for LeMahieu. That a baby. I don't care what shift you play. No one was catching that.
That's why you never change. If DJ was an animal, he's probably a mule. You have to be stubborn. You have to understand what you're good at. DJ is fantastic on hitting the ball opposite field. As soon as this ball kicks off, DJ's thinking third, maybe scoring.
Ten-game hitting streak now for LeMahieu. And Nolan a chance to drive in his 112th. He's been a little jumpy at the plate. Is that what you've noticed, Billy?
We've seen it goes back to the Atlanta series and then even the Detroit series. His swing hasn't looked quite as right. I don't think it has anything to do with this situation in general. It's just been over the last week, he's not been swinging to his best.
He took BP today out on the field, and then he went up because he's the hitting savant. He went up and was hitting underneath again. And then I'm sure he was wandering around the clubhouse practicing his swing.
5 for his last 31.
1-1. It's that old swing pitch, and now it goes in favor of Arenado. Boy, was that ball ever loud off the bat of DJ LeMahieu.
That's why you don't try to switch your swing up. Your swing is your swing. It all depends on what the pitch is.
Way inside. Herman did well to keep that from going to the backstop.
Corbin tries to yank the slider down and in, just like the pitch he struck out Nolan. And for Chris Herman to slide that far across to block that baseball.
I'll tell you what, this may sound crazy, Spilly. I'm almost glad it didn't go by him, because DJ come down the line and may hit the bricks and be a pitch back again. 3-1. Ball 4. That was a good at bat in that Nolan. You know how badly he wants to drive in the run, but he didn't expand, Spilly.
It was fantastic. The Diamondbacks infield is back. All you have to do is put a ball on the ground and it's a run. Corbin did not give a pitch to Nolan to even handle the bat to put the ball in play. And that is what you need to see. That's the type of team offense that the Rockies have to get back to. Not selfish at bats. Trust the guy behind you. Understand what the pitcher's doing. Notice the scoreboard. It's a lot of variables here. But when you're going and things are going right, it just clicks. It makes sense.
Pass the baton. Here's Reynolds. Mark takes ball 1. Reynolds last 15 games, 5 home runs and a dozen ribbies. Nobody out, runners at first and third. Mark ahead 2-0. Milwaukee, little update from Miller Park, 2-2 in the 8th inning. (2-0) ground ball to third, and that'll be a double play. What the Rockies were looking for, they get a run. It's 3-1. You had everything in your favor. You had a 2-0 count. Unfortunately, Mark got the top half of the baseball.
It's only the second run Patrick Corbin's allowed in 33 2/3 of an inning. His last 33 2/3 of an inning.
So the Rockies 1 for 13 last night, runners in scoring position. 0 for 3 tonight. Trend's got to break at some point. 1-1. Desmond's bid for a hit was taken away by Marte on a hard ground ball toward the middle of the diamond. His first at bat, 3 for 11 lifetime against Corbin. Corbin has a swing and miss rate of 26.1%, which is 7th best in the National League. His teammate Zach Greinke's 3rd on that list at 29.5%. The league leaders, Max Scherzer at 33.3%, and then Kershaw at just under 30%. That's a whiff percentage.
There's a reason why the Diamondbacks are at the 3rd best ERA in baseball as a pitching staff.
This is popped up shallow right, and now in foul ground. Goldschmidt makes the catch. Rockies had a promising inning going, but they get just 1 out of it. 3-1 as we go to the 5th. Here's our T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. Last night, Clayton Kershaw returned from his back ailment. He was Clayton Kershaw again, I guess. No runs, 2 hits, 6 innings, 7 strikeouts. And the Astros returned to Houston Thursday night. Did not play yesterday. They played a doubleheader with the Mets today, and they won the first game 12-8. And there was there's A.J. Hinch. There were ceremonies pregame. Try to give a little bit of a distraction to the folks there in Southeast Texas. Houston got after the Mets in game 1. Got up on the scoreboard to see what
0-0
game 2 looks like.
5th inning to the Mets in Houston. Game 2.
There you go. Ketel Marte with redirected ground ball to LeMahieu, and they get the speedy Marte by a step.
Marte's hit the ball hard off John Gray. 2nd time in consecutive at bats he's hit a baseball right up the middle. This one looked like it hit John either in the ankle or off the kneecap. Looks like it caught him in the back of the left leg.
Jake Lamb will line out and pop out to 3rd. He lined to right field, and he takes a breaking ball for ball 1. This is how well the Diamondbacks have been playing. They've won 8 in a row, 10 of 11. Check this out. They have now gone 47 consecutive innings with the lead. That's the 5th longest streak ever. Brooklyn Robbins 48 innings in a row with the lead back in 1930. The 57 Red Sox had a run of 51. The Cardinals in 63 run of 53 innings. The 83 Orioles have the record. They went 55 straight innings with a lead. Part of the reason is every first inning lately they've been putting up a crooked number, it seems like. Tonight they got 3. 2 balls and a strike on Jake Lamb. And that's outside 3-1. 88th pitch for Gray. Lamb's young. He'd like to turn around the reputation of good first half, bad second half guy. It's a strike. 284 in his career with 42 home runs in the first half. Second half, a 221 career average with 24 home runs. Well, you're talking about a guy with a little more than 400 games in the big leagues. Three and 2. Big part of the Diamondbacks' success lately. Yeah, they're scoring a bunch of runs. They're averaging almost 6 a game their last 11. But over their last 11, their starter ERA is 1.75. Corbin tonight has given up just a run in 4 innings. And John walks Jake Lamb. That's the 3rd walk issued by Gray. And you know John doesn't have his A material when he has only 3 strikeouts. Does not have that sharp slider, that swing and miss slider, and really his curveball hasn't been in play.
No, he hasn't had his best stuff, but at the same time you can tell where the Diamondbacks are at with their at bats.
Let me correct that, 4 strikeouts. You got Peralta looking at the 4th. Here's Goldschmidt, 0 for 2. Fastball's inside, ball 1. (3-1) Arizona as they hit in the 5th with 1 out. Two and 0. That pitch, you see Carlos Estevez and Zach Roscup. Both of those guys threw in last night's ball game. Roscup faced 1 hitter and struck him out on 3 pitches. It was Lamb. And that ball's roped, and it is fair. No, foul. Boy, you're looking at Goldschmidt running and Desmond running after the ball. Fortunately, it was foul. Third base umpire Brian O'Nora shot his hands up. Boy, that was close. Fortunately, it was foul. And it was. Man, O'Nora's got great eyes.
You can see Brian O'Nora in the background. He was straddling the line, trying to put himself in the best position to make sure he sees the ball land first before calling it.
Curveball, see you later. Or slider. He locked up Goldschmidt, 2 outs.
Could be the slider. I think it's a curveball. Let's see how it comes out of the hand. That's the curveball. Locks him up. Not the pitch he was expecting to see. Supermo Lucroy, you see how he drops down to his knee, gives a better angle. Goldschmidt knew it.
J.D. Martinez, 3-run home run in the first. Grounded into a fielder's choice in the third, strike one. Gray's at 97 pitches. He's also due up fourth in the bottom of the fifth inning. Yeah, fans right. That tweet. Big inning here. Got to shut him down. Rockies got to run. Last inning. Get a little momentum going against Corbin. Martinez takes low. Martinez is from Miami. He's of Cuban descent.
Pretty amazing. John Gray 1 for 27 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That home run he gave up to J.D. Martinez in the first inning, only the second hit.
Pretty remarkable. But when things seemingly aren't going well, stuff like that happens. 1 for 27 and then you give up that. Good fastball. Little hair on that pitch, huh?
I think John knows he's at 99 pitches. This is probably his last inning. He wants to get back to J.D. Martinez for the home run he hit in the first inning. Go back with that fastball up and in, tie him up.
Here's the 1-2, and he got him with the best slider he's thrown tonight. So a couple of strikeouts, 5 and 6. That's all for Arizona in the fifth. 3-1 they lead. Best depth and best location.
So 3-1. You can see Jonathan Lucroy sitting down. Earlier today, he hit a home run. This brings us to our UC Health Rocky routine. Baseball players have had the gender release going with the baseballs. There's his wife, Sarah, 7-year-old daughter, and he hits the baseball, and it's a boy. So congratulations to Jonathan and Sarah. as they will soon have a baby boy. So there you go. He hit a home run. He's due up third in this inning.
Yeah, you know, that was awesome. What a way to do it. And I give him kudos also for getting to a tough pitch up and in, Spilly.
Up and in, you got to get your top hand on top of the baseball in order to blow that thing up.
That is really cool.
Does his wife know when you send those baseballs out? Like, does she already know it's a boy or girl, or they both blindly send it out and then he hits it?
I bet you Mark knows. Mark knows everything. What do you got, Stout?
Wanted to see this pitch first. So, Emily Greinke, Zach Greinke's wife, good friends. There she is taking the photo. Good friends with the Lucroys because they played together in 2011 in Milwaukee. She was the ringleader. She knew everything. She was there, and she told me, I said, where do you get those baseballs? Let's put it foul. And I don't know, she broke into something about Chelsea Freeman, Freddie Freeman's wife and his father. But I asked Jonathan, he goes, oh, you get them on Amazon. So
does the
mom know before he hits the baseball?
No, the mom doesn't know.
Okay, so
nobody knows.
So
only
nobody
Greinke's wife knew.
Now that's awesome.
That's great.
And they had done it with Greinke earlier this year because he just had a new baby, and so they did the gender release before too, with the Greinkes. But yeah, the only person that knew was Emily Greinke.
How neat is that?
It's great.
Did you find out? You have a boy and a girl. Did you find out?
We found out
Beforehand.
Of course.
Was that Stacy wanting to know or you wanting to know?
Stacy.
Stacy rules the roost, so that's the way it was going to roll.
She doesn't like to be surprised by much.
This is served out to center field by Parra. And a lead-off base hit in the fifth for Gerardo. You played Japan for a year. His approach with 2 strikes kind of looked a little bit like what you may see in the Far East.
Yeah, you'll see a swinging, running type of swing, just making sure you put the barrel on the baseball. Quality of bat by Gerardo, fighting off a couple of tough pitches down and away. Pull that one baseball foul. Could have been a double.
So here's Trevor. Well, the Rockies roll into town. And Arizona says, yeah, Arenado's great. Blackman's great. Up and down that lineup, a lot of big names, but their public enemy #1's become Trevor Story. 9 home runs, 27 driven in under 100 at bats in his career against Arizona. And when Trevor gets married and eventually has kids, I don't know if Mrs. Greinke will afford him the same kindness, because
no, Trevor will just do it in a baseball game.
Yeah, he may do it in the baseball game because he has had his moments against Zach. 2 home runs opening day, first game of his career last year against Greinke down in Phoenix.
Chris Russin getting hot. John Gray's spot is due up in 2 more batters. Based on the way Chris Russin's throwing. So Tom Murphy with the bat.
1-2. And for the record, Story's numbers against Greinke now 8 for 21. 4 of those 8 are home runs.
Anytime you see a starting pitcher next to the manager, pretty much tells you the night's over.
But you give John credit. He was so visibly upset after that first inning, giving up the 3-run home run to Martinez. And he just threw up 4 zeros. Story goes down, 1 out. And he did not have 1 inning that was clean. He had a chance in the second. He had the first 2 guys out, and then he walked Corbin on a 3-2 pitch. Got the next man. He walked Lamb with 1 out in the 5th inning, then had back-to-back strikeouts. But he put up 4 straight zeros. Here's Lucroy with 1 out.
Well, 1 pitch in the first inning should come around to beat you.
One 1-0 on Lucroy. Hit one in the gap for your baby boy.
He needs a pitch about eye level and in.
Ball and a strike. Lucroy back in 2014 had 53 doubles. 1-1. And this is in the air to shallow right. Martinez will get there. 2 outs. Vallejo was in the on-deck circle. He's been called back, save for a later date in this game, perhaps. And it will be Pat Murphy or Tommy Murphy. Murphy had a broken wrist in spring training, missed a couple of months, finally got back to the big leagues and struggled. He went 1 for 20 and was sent back to Albuquerque. And he stayed in Albuquerque with mixed results offensively until the rosters expanded yesterday. Mike Butcher's coming out just to go over a scouting report, I'm sure, on Murphy. So Buddy Black, Spilly, is using his whole roster. Last night, off the bench, he used Togman and McMahon. And also Vallejo. Of course, only one of those guys was with the Rockies prior to last night. Pat Vallejo's had a terrific year, primarily off the bench. And here he's using another guy that was just called back up. And the thought here for Buddy, honestly, is hoping that Murphy, who is super strong, maybe the strongest guy in that Rockies dugout, can run into one. We've seen him do it in the past. Does he have a little more flex in the knees than last time he was up for you? Stance looks similar?
It looks pretty similar to me.
Pat, I keep calling Pat because we just saw Pat Murphy with Milwaukee. Tom Murphy, 8 home runs and 99 career at bats. Pretty impressive.
He's got thunder in that bat. Let's make sure he gets a pitch he can handle. One and two.
Murphy hit .255 in 38 games with Albuquerque. 10 doubles, triple, and 4 home runs. He struck out in AAA at about a 36% rate. This gets away. Parra will move up. Wild pitch.
Take that extra 90 feet. Corbin's been pulling a little bit too hard with the slider. We've seen a pitch to Nolan Arenado that was down and in. Even this one to Tom Murphy. It's not a competitive strike for Patrick Corbin, as good as he's been tonight. The slider hasn't been as good as it's been in the past.
Two, 3-2.
We don't want to keep harping with these numbers, but the numbers are preventing this team from taking it to another level. It's what stalled. It's what stalled this team for the last month.
3-2, and a good swing. Well, Murphy and Corbin are from the same part of the world. If you think where Corbin is from, when I told you earlier, North Syracuse is cold. The man at the plate, Tommy Murphy's from north of there, and he is in the snow belt off of Lake Erie.
And he likes to work out in the off season with no shirt on. He likes the cold.
A little bit crazy then. 3-2. Famous story when Tom was making his major league debut. His dad didn't know about it because he was bear hunting. He was in the wilderness, couldn't reach him. Tommy's dad looks anything like Tommy. Go bear hunting without a weapon.
It wasn't bear hunting, they were furniture shopping.
Foul tip is held, and the Rockies leave Parra at second. We move to the 6th inning. It remains 3-1 Arizona. Well, joining the Colorado Rockies in supporting the recovery efforts for the victims of Hurricane Harvey by donating to the American Red Cross through MLB's dedicated page, youcaring.com/MLB supports. And these are some images of the Houston Astros yesterday out in the community. I thought that was most appropriate by Major League Baseball to allow the Astros a full day off upon return to Houston and play the doubleheader with the Mets today. And support from around the world continues to pour in. I'm sure you read the same thing I did, that storm, that hurricane, and the amount of rain that was poured on that portion of Texas was a 1,000-year, 1 in a 1,000-year event. Think about that for a moment. Here's Chris Russin. A.J. Pollock at the plate. Top of the 6th inning. And 2 Texans for the Rockies, as we discussed yesterday. They're trying to do their part as well. Boy, this is going to be a tough play if it's fair. And it goes foul.
Russin was tempted to grab it, maybe try to do a jump throw. Thought wiser of it.
Yeah, you're not going to get the guy who's running. I mean, Pollock probably gets up the line 4-1 in that neighborhood, which is outstanding from the right side.
I want to go back to what you mentioned in the story of the Houston Astros taking a day off yesterday. Many of those Astros, they went out and helped in the community. The players, rather than going to look and see what was going on with their house, a lot of them had rental properties that were affected. They didn't even care about it. They went and helped players all day yesterday and into the evening.
One on Pollock, and a ground ball to Nolan. With 1 out, that'll bring up Descalso.
Well, Russin's been Bud Black's most trusted reliever. He's now thrown 72 innings as a reliever. That's the most in the National League, and now tied with Yasmiro Petit of those Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Russin, right now, if you were to give away such an award, would be the co-MVP of the bullpen this year. And I know Greg Holland has had some rough outings over the last couple of weeks, but the work that Greg Holland did the first 4 months was remarkable. So, and I think Greg will get back in line. He'll get that slider worked out. They're going to need him down the stretch, clearly. But both of these guys, and Chris Russin, has worn so many different hats. And he's been terrific in every role. That is a broken bat. That's going to end up a base hit for Descalso. So with 1 out, he's aboard, and that'll bring up Chris Herman. You have to be sharp and focused every night, not knowing when the phone is going to ring for you. We always discuss, Billy, as you glance at those numbers, that the strongest bullpens have a pecking order, and when the phone rings, good bullpens know that's probably for me. In the case of Chris Russin, because he's used in so many different areas, when the phone rings, whether it be the 5th inning or the 7th inning or even sometimes the 8th inning, he has to be ready that it may be me. And you know, he's following the game. There's a couple lefties coming up. Mike Dunn obviously is used in those situations. Jake McGee, but he's been used in that role also, or he's been used to go get, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 outs. Two-0 on Herman. And he pitches too.
You can throw a sequence of pitches, which is so important at this level, which means you can throw a fastball in, hit the spot, throw a changeup off of it, and then come back fastball, and you can have an actual pitch sequence of 3 pitches to get a hitter out. As we mentioned that, he throws 3 straight for a ball.
That is unusual. And even on his misses, they're near misses with Chris. He's always around the zone. And he walks Herman on 4 pitches. That'll bring up Corbin. The Rockies with Russin on the mound, have a real athletic guy. Nolan's going to read it at third. You have Corbin, who's going to be bunting here. Hit something, bunt something pretty hard. Russin, I can see him going to third. Lead runner, Descalso, average speed. So earlier this week, the Rockies turned a double play in a first and second bunting situation. That was a 3-5-4.
Right, that was Mark Reynolds sprinting up, Nolan making a good read and making sure he got the ball back across the diamond to DJ. The way that the defense is set up, though, for DJ to make it to first, he's most likely, it's going to be difficult for him to get there.
There's the, Nolan is not going to get anybody in his haste to turn and fire to Story. He misplayed it. It's going to be the 6th error on Arenado. Nolan got what he wanted.
This would have been a highlight reel play for Nolan. He just started too quickly. You see him take his head and eyes off the baseball. Anticipating the play.
So now the bases are loaded. It's a sacrifice for Corbin. You can't assume the force out. And an error on Nolan. And now you have Peralta with the bases loaded and 1 out. Rockies 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Last night the Diamondbacks were 5 for 12. Another critical point in this game. The Rockies have only 2 hits tonight, but they're down just 2 runs, trying to keep it that way.
An infield single, a 4-pitch walk, and an error.
4th error they've committed in a game and a half. Talking about the top defense in baseball. Rockies have not had a 1-2-3 inning yet. There's Senzatello got moved to the bullpen. It's fouled off. Three runs, 6 hits, no errors for Arizona, 1 run. The 2 hits we just mentioned, and now an error on the Rockies. Well, good news from Miller Park. Washington sneaks out a 3-2 win over Milwaukee. So for the moment, Milwaukee falls 2 beneath the Rockies in the wild card chase. 1-2, back up the middle. He'll come home with it for 1. Did he get the plate? Yes. Wow. It was set up for a 1-2-3 double play. Lucroy did a nice job on a throw that was a little off the mark by Chris Russin. And even that situation, not clean baseball. If you get a decent throw here, it's going to be an easy 1-2-3 double play.
Throw pulls Lucroy off to the left. He wanted to make sure that he was getting the out. Slider down and away to Peralta. Russin's one of the better defenders the Rockies have as a pitcher. Let's see how athletic he is, the Subaru Supermo. The chest high throw to Lucroy. He can keep his foot on the plate.
And you don't have to deal with Marte.
Sees extra outs.
Marte right, he's hitting 250. Lefty a little bit better than that. 2 for 3.
Not even the Subaru strike zone knew where that pitch was.
Mystery pitch. You know, so frequently we've talked about the Rockies not giving the other team 27 outs because they seemingly on a nightly basis take away a hit. We say, you know, they give them about 26 outs. Well, last couple ball games, this ball kicks away. Lucroy doesn't know where it is. It'll cost the Rockies a run. It's amazing. The Rockies, the last 2 nights, have not played anywhere close to the type of baseball that they have played most of this year, on defense especially.
Short hop in between to Lucroy. It pops out over his right shoulder. He cannot locate it. Just the inability of the Rockies to make sure they played clean baseball has cost them several times.
So a gift run, 4-1 on the wild pitch, and it's 2-0 on Marte. Three-0. But think about it, shouldn't even come to that. That should have been an inning-ending double play. Chris made a really good pitch to get a comebacker off the bat of Peralta. Goes back to what we discussed very early tonight, that in baseball, I think more so than the other 3 major sports, it is about how you play and not so much about who you are playing. If you play a tight baseball game, especially if you have the kind of talent the Rockies do, you're going to win more than you lose. When you don't, you're not only playing your opponent, you're playing against yourself. 3-2.
I'll still give the Diamondbacks credit. They're putting a lot of pressure on these Rockies. Number one, by pitching so well. Number two, the quality of bats that they've been taking from top to bottom.
They've been grinding out at bats.
Yeah, they've been putting pressure, base running. They're playing very well right now. Don't miss the action when the San Francisco Giants come to Coors Field Monday through Wednesday. Purchase your tickets online at Rockies.com.
Here's the 3-2 from Chris, and it's on the ground to Nolan. And Marte's out by a step. Wild pitch scores a run for Arizona. Middle of 6, 4-1.
4-1 now. There's Chad Bettis taking in the game. Today is the 4th annual K-Cancer across MLB Day. And that's why we all have our K-Cancer Together for Bettis t-shirts. And I asked him today what it means to him this day.
You know, not just for me, but I think to stand up for everyone that is fighting or that is in remission now. You know, I think it goes beyond just myself. I think, you know, it shows the support of the whole MLB community and fighting whatever kind of disease people are fighting.
Everybody knows about Chad's journey from testicular cancer. So did the Diamondbacks. Archie Bradley tweeting this today. Little extra meaning here in Colorado because of the Rockies and Chad Bettis.
Yeah, great stuff. And so much money has been raised now, and Chad has helped with testicular cancer awareness in particular. Chad's scheduled to go on Monday, and the Giants come to town. Rockies in the business of putting a rally together right now. Here in the bottom of the 6th. They have the top of the order and a 2-0 count on Blackman against Corbett. Rockies a run on just 2 hits so far. And he got him out front. It's an easy play in foul ground. Goldschmidt. Well, that'll bring up LeMahieu. He has one of the 2 hits tonight. Really the only hard hit ball against Corbin. That was a triple off the top of the right center field wall. The other hit was a Parra base hit to center that he kind of flicked his bat at, hit a soft line drive. DJ entered the ball game at 3:15. Takes inside. LeMahieu's so steady since June 15. He's hit 356, which is the best average in the National League. He only got better since June 15th in baseball's Altuve. J.J. Hoover. Two balls and a strike. Corbin's 92 pitches in. He's kind of pitched, Spilly, like we heard he was pitching the last 4 outings. That's another strike. Last 4 outings.
He's really thrown 5 consecutive quality starts. If he gets through this inning where the runs are, it's going to be 6 straight quality starts.
Coming in 30 1/3, he had allowed 1 run on just 14 hits. And tonight, just a run on 2 hits in 5 1/3. Be hard pressed to find anybody in baseball, starting pitcher, throwing the ball any more effectively over the last few weeks than Corbett. 3-2.
It's a real difficult mix for a right-handed hitter when you have a pitcher like Patrick Corbin who can elevate a fastball inside, can throw the back foot slider to the righties, and then still has a changeup that he can locate down and away.
And a walk with 1 out to LeMahieu. Comes the skipper, former Boston bench coach Troy Luvella. Nolan is just 6 for 33 lifetime against Corbin, but he didn't care about that. He knows about the Arenado resume. 4-1. Back in a moment. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. In the state capital of the Centennial State, the Rockies trailing the Diamondbacks by 3, trying to put a rally together in the 6th. With one man out, LeMahieu's at first, J.J. Hoover in the ball game, and he's going to face Nolan Arenado.
Nolan's 2 for 6 in his career against J.J. Hoover. 39 games for the Diamondbacks. See the 9 holds, a 4.24 ERA, 34 innings pitched, 46 strikeouts. I mentioned earlier how this Diamondbacks team, starting rotation and the relief corps, has been one of the strengths of this team.
Hoover pitched a third of an inning yesterday. Again, just called back to the big leagues yesterday also. And a breaking ball for strike 1. Rockies last night had 8 hits. They also were the beneficiary, at least. That ball's lined to right. But it is it's off the glove and rolls to the wall. Martinez missed the baseball. LeMahieu will stop at third. The Rockies get a big break. That ball was crushed, and it ate up J.D. Martinez. It'll be a 2-base error, and the Rockies need to take advantage.
Off the bat, I know Nolan's going to be upset that it's not a hit, but it's going to work well for the Rockies. JD looks like he loses it in the lights. You can lose it on a low line drive if you're in right field. See on the Subaru Supermo. This is his reaction. DJ reading it, having to pick up Stu Cole. Cole was tempted to send DJ to score, but he didn't. Good thing he did.
So here's Reynolds, a fly ball to right, and he grounded into a 5-4-3 double play, which scored the Rockies' only run. Rockies had first and third with nobody out in that 4th inning. They got just that 1 run. I was saying last night the Rockies had 8 hits. Arizona actually walked 8 last night, but the Rockies were outscored 9-5. Pitch misses. It's 2-0. So everything's set up right now for Reynolds. So far, the Rockies 0 for 4 tonight. Runners in scoring position, 1 for 17 in the series. 3-0. Desmond's on deck. Swinging 3-0, he's got to get out of play. Need a little breeze, and you get enough of it. They need a 4-row breeze, and they got the 4-row breeze, Billy.
I don't mind Mark Reynolds swinging at all. 3-0.
He hits one in the seats, got a tie ball game.
At times, though, Mark will try to swing too hard. His best swing is when he's swinging 85 to 90% because he is so strong. We've seen calm, under control swing from Mark Reynolds where the ball jumps off. The
other reason I don't mind it is Mark, I know he strikes out a lot, but he has a good feel for the zone. And this is on the ground to second. Rockies get a run. It's 4-2 as DJ scores. Nolan to third. 88th RBI for Reynolds. Here's Ian Desmond. That hit still elusive for the Rockies. Now 0 for 5 tonight. 1 for their last 20 with runners in scoring position. It's going to change at some point. It's a strike. 0-1. 2 strikes on Desmond. He's grounded to short and fouled out to Goldschmidt.
Desmond very good on the season, 429 with a homer and 15 RBIs, 2 outs, runners in scoring position. Hoover has a 4-pitch mix. He's already shown fastball and slider.
Doesn't move away from Herman enough for Nolan to come down the line. 1-2. Rockies entered play tonight. Very good against the West, 29 and 22. Trying to even the season series with Arizona at 7 apiece. The 3 teams that are vying for the playoffs all have good records inside the division. Good take, 2-2. Hernandez and McFarland now throwing for Arizona. 2-2. 3. Strike 3. Desmond didn't like it. Pitch called a strike that may have been off the corner. Rockies do get a run. It's 4-2 going to the 7th.
At the top of the 7th inning, 4-2 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Rockies are making an impact with the Make an Impact program. It's a free elementary school assembly that will entertain students while showing them how to make an impact on their lives and communities. Call 303 Rockies for more information.
You know who was here today?
Who?
The fantasy campers.
Oh, gosh.
Some of your old players, Billy. You coached them up to what was your record this game?
We were good. We went to the championship.
You lost to that ringer.
We lost
for
to
Francis
a ringer.
and Fogg, huh? The Dragon Slayers won it all. Come to fantasy camp, folks. Time of your life. Late January, right before the Super Bowl. A week of frivolity, good baseball, and good times, courtesy of the Rockies. Swung on and missed. Russin facing Jake Lamb.
It's a good time. I keep thinking about how much fun I have in fantasy camp. My wife knows when I go to fantasy camp, I'm not going to talk to her for about 4 days.
2 strikes on Lamb. Second inning of work for Russin, trying to get the Rockies back on offense quickly. And he's gone on 3 pitches. Chris Russin strikes out Lamb. And that'll bring up Goldschmidt. And it'll bring a pitching change as well. So Chris works an inning and a third. He gave up an unearned run last inning. 1 out, top of 7, 4-2 Arizona. Time for our Cooney Lexus look back. First inning with 2 outs. John Gray had 2 strikes on J.D. Martinez, and he hung a slider, and Martinez hit it out. It was 3-0 for a while. This double play ground ball got the Rockies a run to make it 3-1. Arizona got an unearned run, and then Reynolds ground ball to second. The Rockies still do not have a hit with a runner in scoring position. Heck, in the 7th, they have just 2 hits, but they're very much in this game. It's 4-2. And with 1 out and nobody on, the Rockies will go to Pat Neshek to face Paul Goldschmidt.
Neshek has been fantastic for the Rockies. Numbers for him on his all-star campaign. Again, the season with the Philadelphia Phillies. So these are all the numbers combined. 52 in the 3rd innings, 57 strikeouts, 5 walks.
That's crazy. You know, he used to have numbers like that for the Rockies. Who was very deliberate, one of the more deliberate guys you've ever seen.
Rafael Betancourt.
Rafi Betancourt. Rafi at the end of the year, he'd been 10-11-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Way inside, 3-0 on Goldschmidt. Why has it always worked that way? We're bragging on a guy who doesn't walk anybody.
Well, it's
5 walks all year. Next thing you look up and it's a 3-0 count.
There's no way our words have any bearing on this game, but it certainly feels like it does.
Get blamed for it once in a while. 3-1. Tell you this much, I'll throw something else out there to get blamed for it. Goldie's 1 for his last 15 against the Rockies. 0 for 3 tonight. That's a strike. Good pitch.
Right inside on that Subaru strike zone. Kinda.
Neshek ready. Here's the 3-2. He's got him. 2 outs in the 7th. All the way back to strike out one of the game's great players, Paul Goldschmidt.
Proof that what we say up here has no bearing on the actual outcome of the game. Neshek is primarily fastball slider. Subaru Super Mode, the late movement. For anybody that's ever faced Pat Neshek, you assume that the ball comes out from a different arm angle, a lower arm angle, just based on the way he sets up.
There's a ball on J.D. Martinez. I love that angle, that camera angle we just showed of that delivery, the slider. because Spilly, you get in that right-handed box where you used to be. That's a strike for 54 feet, right?
And then the bottom completely falls out.
There's another slider. It's 1-1. Look at this pitch and pretend you're hitting right now.
Well, you're watching and you're expecting the ball to come from down there. It doesn't. And then when the movement, it has this. It's a straight frisbee. It's a frisbee slider.
Outside 2-1. But your mind says strike, 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 strike. And then when you look on the tape, you go, why'd I swing at that? The ball was.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons Neshek's so effective. 2-2. Rockies in the bottom of the 7th will have Gerardo Parra, Trevor Story, Jonathan Lucroy, and then the pitcher's spot.
Well, we have to thank the Philadelphia Phillies and Bob McClure for talking Neshek into throwing the slider more often.
Great job again by Neshek. The Rockies strike out the side. Russin got the first punch out, Neshek the next 2. Rockies needed a quick inning. That's their first 1-2-3 inning of the night. 4-2 Arizona. With Ryan Spilborghs and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies trying to win the latter third of the game and thus the ball game. They've been outscored 4-2 through the first 6.5. But in the bottom of the 7th, they'll have Gerardo Parra up against David Hernandez. He's got a little life last inning from the relief corps. Russin and Neshek with an impressive top of the 7th. David Hernandez on for the 54th time. The Rockies saw him last night. They got 2 runs off him in 2/3 of an inning. He was one of 7 pitchers out of the bullpen last night for Torey Lovullo. Parra's 1 for 2. The Rockies have only 2 hits. Stay fair, and Goldschmidt makes the play, 1 out. We'll bring up Story. Just jumping on board, John Gray went 5 innings, gave up the 3-run home run to JD Martinez in the first. It's the only runs he gave up in 5 innings. 5 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts to 100 pitches. Patrick Corbin has been on a roll, went 5 1/3, allowed 2 runs, 1 earned. 2 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts for Corbin through 96 pitches.
catcher spot due up in 2 more batters, and the Rockies have plenty of lefties available.
Story pops this one up. Jake Lamb.
Story had a hanging curveball, probably center cut, just missed it.
Here's the catcher, Lucroy, coming up. Ground ball to short and a fly ball to right for Lucroy. You and I both talked to some guys before the ball game today, and they said Taijuan Walker, especially that curveball, he was one of the better guys they've faced. They've seen him this year also, and he's been good against the Rockies, but especially yesterday, one of the better performances they've seen. He struck out 10 in 5 innings. Tonight, Patrick Corbin. Obviously, it's been tough when the Rockies have only 2 hits. Lucroy with the Rockies' 3rd hit. And that'll get Mike Tauchman to the plate.
Full bench for Bud Black. He had Amarista. Tauchman, Cargo still available to him.
He's going to hold Cargo back for that next time through, potentially.
He's keeping his 2 best pinch hitters in his mind, Pat Valaika, Carlos Gonzalez. And Cargo last night had 2 doubles, including a double opposite field like we've seen him do. When he's at his best, he hits doubles off the left field wall. There was one last night that he hit. He thought
it was out, but it just never got high enough. It was an absolute laser beam. Cargo starting to prepare for an at bat at some point. He's got the mitts on, not because it's cold out. You know, last night the Rockies struck out a dozen times. They struck out a dozen times on Wednesday in the series finale against Detroit. Do you realize that's only the 2nd time in the history of the franchise that at Coors Field they had struck out 12 or more times in 2 straight games? Usually see that at home. Tonight they struck out 5 times. This is looped to shallow left, and it will drop. That'll bring up Charlie Blackmon.
Last night, Michael Tauchman worked the walk. First pitch swinging off David Hernandez. Throws one out over the infield. Now, Ketel Marte, you can see the ball right off the end of the bat on the Subaru Supermo. Ketel Marte played shortstop for the Diamondbacks tonight. Does a fantastic job to get to this baseball and look to see if Lucroy would have tried to go first or third. If he did, the Rockies would have ran themselves straight out of this inning.
Yeah, Charlie Blackmon coming up, and they're going to bring in a left-hander for Charlie. It'll be Andrew Chafin, first to timeout.
number to remember at your local Rockies dugout store, the place for all things Rockies.
So here's the situation with 2 outs. The Rockies have put together a couple of singles. A roller up the middle by Lucroy and a shallow pop fly that dropped for the pinch hitter Topman. So Blackman will come up to face Andrew Chafin, another guy that pitched last night. Chafin went 1+ last night, gave up a hit. Charlie hitting .340 left on left. Rockies 0 for 6 tonight with runners in scoring position. Can't wait till we stop talking about it. Whoa, look at him. That go over the dugout or into the dugout? He went over the top.
Oh man, they're calling for help right away.
Billy, I'm sure you've been a part of one of these deals and you want to stay focused, but you're a human being. It's a little unnerving, isn't it?
It is, because you know you may have seriously hurt somebody. And we've seen more and more teams around baseball put up the safety net. And I expect that to be done throughout baseball by the start of next year.
Good news is, it's a lady walking off on her own. So hopefully she's okay. 1-1. Two and one.
Chafin has limited lefties to a .207 batting average since May the 26th.
Lucroy at second. Mike Topman the tying run at first in the 7th. Two and two.
Chafin has the good fastball tonight, 92 to 95 miles an hour. He will throw the occasional changeup, so has a curveball. He wants to get to the slider to Charlie. You might see 2 straight sliders.
2 and 2. And Chafin able to get Blackman. So we move on to the 8th. 4-2 Arizona. Time for the Kubota pitching performance. Here were the two starters tonight. Corbin, very good for the 5th straight start. And he had come in with a 7.78 ERA at Coors Field, but allowed the Rockies just 1 earned run in 5 1/3. John Gray gave up 3 in the first on the 3-run home run by J.D. Martinez, then put 4 zeros on the board. But the Rockies offense has been stuck on 2 runs. They have just 4 hits. And they're 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight as Jake McGee takes over in the 8th inning. Bishek was great for 2/3 of an inning, combined with Chris Russin. These are guys you'd like to see with the Rockies ahead by a couple 3 runs, protecting lead. Unfortunately, of late, when we see these guys, it's more to keep the ball game close and give the offense a chance in the 8th or 9th. And that's the assignment for Jake McGee tonight. He'll have A.J. Pollock, Daniel Descalso, and Chris Herman. First pitch, ball 1 on Pollock. Doubled to left center, 1 for 3. The double came in the 4th inning. Up the middle, Story will get there and make a nice play. Good play, Trevor Story, showing his range. Got a fast man also in Pollock.
That's an in-between hop for Trevor. He also has to avoid the base at second. See the in-between hop. Opens his glove as wide as possible so he gives enough surface area to put the ball in it. And then the clean transfer.
Descalso tonight, 1 for 3. This is fouled off. Good pitch, 1 and 2. Two on Descalso, and that's fouled off. Cardinal and Rocky, Daniel Descalso. A giddy up man that just missed at 97. He's got a fresh arm. 3 and 2 on Descalso. Miami at home beat Philadelphia 10-9, and yes, Stanton hit another home run, number 52. This is in the infield. Two gone as Reynolds squeezes the baseball. Chris Herman will come up.
The upcoming Coca-Cola Value Pack games are September 5th, my birthday, and 6th, and September 25th through the 27th. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 Cokes, and more for either section for $59 or $79, depending on seat location.
Spilligus, you got a birthday Tuesday?
Tuesday's my birthday. What are you gonna get me?
What would you like?
I want to double in the gap.
Boy, you know what? I want to see a 3-run bomb in the bottom of the 8th. Can we do that for you instead?
Take that. You can give me an early birthday present.
Talk to the fellas. Herman's walked twice, 0 for 1. It's Drury pinch hitting, excuse me. Rockies looking for that 3-run jack in the 8th. We'll have LeMahieu, Arenado, and Reynolds. If the inning gets extended, Chris Iannetta now has a bat. Two strikes on the pinch hitter Brandon Drury. Started at second last night. See Iannetta behind the plate next inning, I'm sure. And a base hit.
It's a good 2-strike hitting by Drury. He's now 5 for 14 in pinch hitting opportunities.
Diamondbacks 4 runs on 7 hits. When they score 4 runs or more in a game this year, they're 62-17. Iannetta's been swinging the bat well of late. An 8-game hitting streak, hitting .370 during that time frame.
Same like the Rocks. You said 62-17. If the Diamondbacks score 4 more, the Rockies are 60-19 if they score 4 more.
One of those 19 losses last night.
We also said it's such a drastic change for the Rockies this season. If they score 3 or fewer, they're 12-43. Difference between that extra run from 3 to 4,
and for, you know, I think
most
every
teams,
club in baseball,
most teams.
It's that demarcation. 3 runs or fewer for Arizona, 15-40. Ground ball to short, tough little hop handled by Story, and that will end the 8th inning as McGee pitches well. And as we go to the bottom of the 8th, the Rockies trail 4-2. Again, it will be LeMahieu in the 8th leading off. Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Jack in the Box, come try the new Smoky Jack Burger or chicken sandwich for a limited time only. And by the Wyoming Office of Tourism, Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why. TravelWyoming.com. Pretty night in one of the prettiest cities in America. The Rockies trailing the Diamondbacks 4-2. Archie Bradley, who handled the 8th inning yesterday, though did not start in the 8th inning. Chafin went against Charlie Blackmon. Blackmon got a base hit against him. Chafin tonight was able to strike him out. LeMahieu hit into a 3-6-3 double play against Bradley yesterday. And then Bradley would walk Arenado, and he would get Reynolds on a fly ball. So he's facing the same 3 guys he faced last night. 2 strikes.
DJ with the guy throwing over 95 miles an hour. This is the left fielder. Center field AJ Pollock's right there. And this is JD Martinez.
DJ a triple earlier in the ball game. The Rockies' only extra base hit. One and two.
If you look at advanced metrics or you just look at the numbers for Archie Bradley, for a non-closer, this is your Andrew Millers of the world. This is your Pat Neshek. The high leverage, use him in certain situations. His value is off the charts.
That's out of play.
With the way the shift is, it's pretty much Archie Bradley's fastball versus DJ's back control. And when you put all the players on the right side of the field, they're thinking to themselves, go ahead, hit it.
This is to the left side. Lamb with a nice pickup. It's a good play by Jake Lamb. He didn't opt to circle it, Spilly. He went with the backhand.
Surprised me on the season. Jake Lamb has 13 errors. This is a nice play. In between hop. Had no time really to circle it unless he made that adjustment right off the bat.
Nolan 0 for 2 and a walk. He hit a bullet at JD Martinez in the 6th inning that Martinez had go off his glove for a 2-base error. The Rockies had 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. They got just 1 out of it, another hard hit ball. And there's 2 outs as Marte makes the catch. 2 outs. Mark Reynolds will approach. Fans follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special when the Rockies score 7 in a game. Reynolds 0 for 3, drove in a run in the 6th with a ground ball to second. Bradley's a catch and fire guy. He is back on the rubber almost simultaneously as he gets the throw back from Chris Iannetta.
Well, wouldn't you want the ball back right away? The last 16 games, he's held opponents to a 176, 172 batting average. Nobody's hitting his stuff. Let's give me the ball back.
Two, 1. 3 and 1. And a walk. So now the tying run to the plate, Ian Desmond. Desmond, ground out, pop out, called out on a pitch he thought was off the plate in the 6th. Strike on Desmond.
It's an explosive fastball for Archie Bradley. You can see how the ball seems to carry through the zone.
That's where guys talk about spin rate, because a ball can be 95 with a different spin rate. One that has more spin, the ball seems to stay elevated a little bit longer. 1-2. That's where you hear hitters say the ball had, late life.
Well, they'll say that the ball looks like it looks like the ball's rising. Rafael Betancourt, since we were talking about him earlier, was one of those type of pitchers. High spin rate. Archie Bradley's up there as well.
1-2. And Desmond a ground ball to second. So we go to the 9th inning. The Rockies continue to trail 4-2 against the Diamondbacks.
We head to the top of the 9th. That means we're getting ready for the Toyota postgame show out in center field with Jeff Houston and Corey Sullivan. I'm Jenny Cavnard. Last night we talked about runners in scoring position. You can talk about the same tonight, but it doesn't help when you get behind early, and that's what the Rockies have done the last 2 nights.
Well, and that's what Arizona's done for the last 51 consecutive innings, tied now for the 3rd longest since 1920. It's pretty easy to play when you got the lead all the time.
And anytime they make a mistake, unfortunately, the Rockies just aren't able to capitalize. They had opportunities in the 4th and 6th inning, just couldn't put more than 1 run on the board in each.
All right, guys, we'll send it back to you for the 9th. We'll see you right after the game.
All right, Jenny, Mike Dunn in the 9th inning. He'll face Peralta, Marte, and Lamb.
Dunn in 58 games, 5-1 record, 4.53 ERA, 5 2/3, 53 strikeouts, and 24 walks. He's given up 8 home runs, including 1 last night on 2 strikes to Daniel Descalso.
Peralta tonight, a single back in the 1st inning. That was a line drive off the wall in right field. He hit it so hard, Parra just turned and fired it back in. And it was one of those 370-foot singles that, with Cargo out there, we've seen him hold guys to singles on such hits before. Parra playing out there tonight did the same thing. 1 ball, 1 strike. is in the air to left. Desmond. One out in the ninth. It'll be the switch hitter, Ketel Marte. 2 for 4 tonight. First pitch strike from Mike.
Dunn has already thrown more innings this year and has been in more games than he was from a year ago. In fact, he's holding hitters to below a .234 batting average, which is his MLB career average. Last year, he held hitters to a .270 batting average.
Marte squared around a bunt, didn't offer. It's 2-1. In the bottom of the ninth, the Rockies will have Parra, Story, Lucroy, and then the pitcher spot. Talked about Fernando Rodney having a rubber arm. He's been really busy lately, and he's up again, even though he's in the ball game yesterday. He's thrown a lot of pitches in the last week or so.
Last night we didn't see a very sharp Fernando Rodney. His fastball wasn't as good as we've seen in the past. I'm hoping there is some fatigue in there, that he's due to give one up.
Breaking ball misses. 3-2. Lamb's on deck. Go back about 8-9 days. Rodney's worked the 24th, 25th, 26th, 29th, 30th last night. And ball 4. Here's the matchup on the hill tomorrow. German Marquez will go for the Rockies, and Zach Godley, who, despite a 6-7 record, has a .329 ERA. They have a very good rotation.
Godley's been a godsend for the rotation since Shelby Miller went down.
You've been waiting to run that one out there for a while, haven't you?
Saving it for tomorrow, but I guess he can practice tonight. Rockies are hoping that they can put some ungodly numbers up tomorrow.
Nice. What else you got?
That's it.
Outside, 2-0 on Lamb. 0 for 3 and a walk tonight.
The pitches aren't far off on the Subaru strike zone. It's been a pretty tight zone throughout the evening for Paul Emmel. But the Diamondbacks just haven't been chasing.
Rockies with a comeback and pick up a full game on Milwaukee. Lost 3-2 at home against Washington today. Swing and a miss, 2-1. The wild card looks like right now, pending the outcome of this one. St. Louis lost, Miami won tonight.
Tyler Chatwood warming up in the Rockies bullpen. Curious if this is the last batter for Dunn. Go righty-righty against Paul Goldschmidt.
Three and one.
Chatwood on Thursday touched 99 miles an hour coming out of the bullpen.
And a walk, back-to-back walks. Chatwood's going to inherit an unsavory situation. Paul Goldschmidt coming up with 2 on. Here comes Tyler, 4-2 Arizona. What will come your way? It's a fun show. It's an entertaining show. It's an informative show. Spilly and Sully will be starring on tomorrow's version, so you know it'll be entertaining. Ian Desmond will talk about his gloves. Chris Russell will take you inside his bullpen routine. And Greg Holland gets some of his teammates together to pitch in around the community. All that, much more. The club tomorrow after the Toyota postgame show once again. 2 on by a walk here in the 9th inning with 1 out. Paul Goldschmidt's going to stride to the plate. Tyler Chatwood completing his warm-up pitches. Goldschmidt, one of the leading candidates with a couple of Rockies for the National League MVP through 5+ months of 2017. Chatwood has been able to air it out coming out of the bullpen, and for the most part he's thrown strikes.
I mentioned he touched 99 miles an hour in 3 innings of work against the Tigers on Thursday. And this is the matchup that Bud wanted in the 8th inning. If it got to Goldschmidt, obviously he would have loved to have had a clean inning. But Chatwood's had quite a bit of success against Goldschmidt, and he's hoping for a double play ball.
First pitch strike. Crowd of nearly 40,000 at Coors Field, hoping for a Rockies rally. But first things first, they got to put down the Diamondbacks in the top of the 9th. Rockies have Jeff Hoffman up now just in case also. He's got called back to the big leagues. A good start a few days ago for Albuquerque. Goldschmidt off the knuckles foul. His teammates kid him, the All-American boy, Paul Goldschmidt. Seems to have it all going on. He's in that Nolan Arenado mold, Charlie Blackmon mold. He's just a tremendous guy as well. He's being a great player. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good block by Lucroy. 2-2. That's the thing with Chatwood. The stuff is nasty, but you're going to get a few of these typically in an outing where you just hope you can block it.
Well, I know it was his elbow that blocked it. Caught a little bit of chest protector. That's just the overthrown slider. Chatty will do that on occasion.
Seven on that heater. That young lady, by the way, we're happy to report, has come back to her seat, who got hit earlier on the Blackmon foul ball. There she is on the right.
The
She's
Rockies
getting protected.
Shirt. Yep, he's keeping her glove up.
Swung on and missed. Chatwood strikes out Paul Goldschmidt for the 2nd out in the night.
Goldschmidt's now 3 for 19 against Tyler Chatwood. Curveball for Chatwood, down and away, and you don't see Paul Goldschmidt swing and miss on pitches this far out and away from him.
Now JD Martinez, still the difference in this game. That 3-run home run on a hanging slider against John Gray in the first. 1 for 4. Slider, ball 1. Ball that skips up there. 2-0.
See how long the leash is for Tyler Chatwood. Already 2 walks in the inning for Rockies relievers. Mike Dunn, Marcantel Marte, and then Jake Liam. Zach Rosscup up in the bullpen now as well.
Here's the 3-1, and that's a base hit up the middle and around third. Marte will score. Going first to third is Lamb, and those walks just kill you. And instead of a 2-run game, now it's a 3-run game. 5-2.
4 RBIs tonight for JD Martinez, all with 2 outs. Those are all backbreaker RBIs. 3-1 count. Tyler not looking to walk anybody, has to throw a pitch middle part of the plate. that July 19th acquisition of JD Martinez in this series has come back to hurt the Rockies.
But you think about the counts, break it down. I mean, 2 walks. So Arizona didn't truly earn their way on, other than knowing not to swing at pitches out of the strike zone. And then you get behind, and as good as Chatwood's stuff is, 3-1 pitch to a good hitter.
For JD Martinez, that's 34 RBIs in 39 games with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Turned out to be a very good move for Arizona to lengthen that lineup out. And they were preemptive in that they didn't wait till the 30th or 31st to get Martinez, who was more toward the middle of July. It's a swing, 0-2 on Pollock. Ball is still in play. I don't think it went out of play, so Martinez went first to third. Get a check if it went out of play.
Well, it looked like the baseball, after it skipped, the umpires are gonna
get together. Maybe it did. And again, that is impossible, folks, to block. You have to get lucky if you're Jonathan Lucroy. It's so much easier to block. They're going to send him back to second. It's so much easier to block a ball that, you know, is 59 feet, somewhere there. And that's what you expect when somebody says bury a slider. That's what you expect. That the ball's going to look like a strike until the very last moment. And it's an easy pitch to block, especially for a catcher at this level. When the ball lands at 50 feet, 52 feet, 54 feet, you just hope it hits some of your body. Good play by Nolan. Rockies down 4, going to the bottom of the 9th inning as Arizona tacks 2 on at the top of the 9th. As we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, Parr will be first up. It's Fernando Rodney again. We got the final 3 outs yesterday. Numbers on Rodney, 51 appearances, and since May 1st, you see the 193 batting average. Batting average since May 1st against him is below 140. One of the pleasant surprises for Arizona this year, among a couple of them, as to why they have turned it around so dramatically here in 2017 from last year. Parr singled in the 5th inning, one of 4 hits the Rockies have tonight. Really the only hard hit ball was the triple off the top of the right center field wall by DJ LeMahieu. Parr's single was a soft line drive. Jonathan Lucroy hit a roller that was just in the right spot up the middle. Tauchman hit a bloop to left. That's it for the Rockies offensively. 1 run scored on a double play off the bat of Reynolds. So no RBI there. And then in the 6th inning, Reynolds had an RBI ground out. The Rockies tonight 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position after going 1 for 13 last night. Last inning, last half inning, the Diamondbacks expand their lead to 4, scoring twice, and they had only 1 hit. Last night, they gave up, talking about the Rockies, 5 runs in an inning in which the Diamondbacks had only 2 hits. And what hurts even more is that Paul Goldschmidt in this series is 0 for 8. So you've done a great job against Goldschmidt. 2-1. There's that good changeup. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
For anybody that, if you're teaching a kid at the little league level or the high school level, the palm ball, that changeup that Rodney throws is the best combination with the fastball. If you can locate and keep your arm action the same with your changeup, it is impossible for a hitter to pick up.
And then still be able to throw in the mid-90s as
well, that helps.
Rodney can for a 40-year-old. That's unusual.
But even guys, if you don't have big velocity, you can look throughout the league. Kyle Hendricks, the Chicago Cubs, throws about 88 miles an hour with a fantastic changeup. Marco Estrada with Toronto, same thing.
1 out in the 9th.
Well, depending on how Rodney holds it, I believe it's a 4-seam palm ball. You want to try to get as much surface area on the baseball as possible, and that allows it to slow down the baseball as it comes out of your hand with the same arm speed as your natural fastball. So the pitch that you would hold it normal like any fastball, but you just add more surface area. Put the ball in your hand as far as you can, as you're willing to control the baseball, and it's a fantastic pitch.
It's a tough pitch, though, to command. It takes a lot of practice. 1 out. Trevor Story 0 for 3 tonight. Called strike. You know, it's a results-oriented business, sports, especially at the highest level. I think what's going to be most disappointing for the Rockies, if they're unable to come back and put a great rally together here with 1 out in the 9th, is how they've played these 2 games. You're going to get beat some nights, but the Rockies have been outplayed in every facet and have not played clean baseball. And that's probably most troubling right now for Buddy.
That will eat at you. If your team is playing its best and the other team on the other side plays their best and they beat you, fine. There's no way the Rockies believe over the last 2 days, there's no way that they can look us in the eye and say they played their best baseball and the Diamondbacks just flat out beat them.
Oh no, we talked to guys before the ball game where Cargo was very frank. He said, you know, we didn't play a good baseball game last night. You know, and tonight there's an error on the board for the Rockies. Obviously, offensively, they have just 4 hits. And then the 2 walks in the 9th inning, both come around to score. A wild pitch. I mean, that especially with a runner on third, ostensibly is an error. He had a missed double play on the comebacker.
Sure. Look, we've been around this game long enough. We know how hard the game is. We understand eventually you're going to hit with runners in scoring position based on the lineup. But it's when you hurt yourself, self-inflicted wounds, to a team that the margin for error, you cannot give the Diamondbacks much because they'll take advantage of it. When you lose games in that fashion, those are the games that hurt, especially when you know your destiny is in your own hands.
Again, the Rockies got a break because Milwaukee lost tonight at home 3-2 late to Washington. And you do control your own destiny. Three and 2. Story trying to grind out an at-bat, reach against Rodney. Lucroy on deck. Rockies hung in on their last road trip, went 3-3 after losing 2-3 in Kansas City, bounced back, winning 2-3 in Atlanta. This ball's crushed up on the concourse, but foul. But and they were really excited about coming home, be at home for 10 days, 9 games. Opened with Detroit, but right now, if they lose tonight, they're staring at a 1-4 start on this homestand.
And they face good pitching on this homestand.
This is a floater to shallow center, and Marte makes the catch. Lucroy will try to extend it. Jonathan 1 for 3. Ball 1. One and 2 on Lucroy. One hopper snagged at second by Descalso, and that'll end the ball game. The Rockies fall 6-2. They've lost the first 2 ball games of this series against Arizona. The Diamondbacks now have won 9 straight. And the Rockies just 1-4 so far on this most important 9-game homestand. Corbin gets the victories 13-11. John Gray takes the loss. He is 6-4. And the Rockies now are just 9 games above 500 at 72-63. It's the first time since May 14th that they were less than double digits above 500. They'll try to get things straightened out tomorrow with German Marquez on the mound. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. It happened in the first inning with 2 outs, 2 strikes. A hanging slider from John Gray to J.D. Martinez was hit over the center field wall with 2 aboard. And the Diamondbacks were off to a 3-0 start. And then later in the ball game, Martinez with his 4th ribby of the ball game. The final 6-2. Arizona has defeated the Rockies. Tonight in center field we go. It's Jenny and the boys. Jenny.
All right, thanks so much, Drew. Yeah, the Rockies now just 1 for 20 with runners in scoring position over their last 2 games. The offense not there, but it's all facets. We'll talk about it coming up on the Toyota Postgame Show.